Imagine you are seconds away from snatching the money in the bank briefcase, but the briefcase starts moving up. Sounds crazy, right? But what's even crazier is losing the match, but still winning the championship, because these are the 10 times WWE wrestlers were caught cheating. And can you name the guy making it into the list 3 times? Eddie Guerrero's cunning antics and quick thinking made him a fan favorite, and one of his classic cheating moments showcased his genius in the ring. During a 2003 episode of SmackDown, Guerrero found himself facing off against Billy Gunn in a singles match. Things were heating up, and towards the end, Jamie Noble, the lesser J of J&J Security, decided to make an appearance, steel chair in hand. Now I'm scratching my head wondering what his game plan was here. Anyway, Eddie being Eddie, he saw an opportunity and took it. He tossed Billy into the referee, who was holding the chair, causing a bit of chaos. Then, wham! Eddie smacks Billy over the head with the chair and drops it between them so the ref couldn't see a thing. Classic Eddie move, right? Billy's distracted, the ref's all discombobulated, and Eddie, well, he's got the upper hand. That's how you play the game, and Vince McMahon surely knows that. Montreal Screwjob is perhaps the most infamous instance of cheating in WWE history. It occurred during the WWE Championship match between Bret the Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels at the 1997 Survivor Series. As the match neared its end, Vince McMahon, fearing that Bret Hart, who was leaving for rival promotion WCW, would take the championship with him, orchestrated a plan without Hart's knowledge. When Hart had Michaels locked in his signature submission move, the sharpshooter, McMahon ordered the referee to ring the bell, ending the match. This was despite Hart not having submitted. The decision shocked Hart and the wrestling world. It led to Hart spitting in McMahon's face on live television and fueled a bitter rivalry between the two for years to come. Now, why not spread the love to one more pair of twins who actually managed to pull it off successfully? The Usos. I gotta admit, I never knew the Usos busted out twin magic. Mostly because, for a stupidly unfortunate amount of time, I thought one of them had a Samoan tattoo across his chest and the other didn't. Yeah, I know, I was way off. I mean, seriously, how did I even have that in my mind? Probably just a thing from when I was younger and didn't really know the Usos too well. I might have only seen them once or twice, But hey, turns out they had it in them all along. They had twin magic up their sleeves, and I gotta say, I'm proud of those Usos. So, let's take a moment to appreciate not only some classic twin magic, but also what might just be the most underrated act of the damn decade, Damien Mizdow, racking up some dividends right there. So here's to the Usos with a little switcheroo. But when it comes to cheating in Royal Rumble history, the Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin, takes the cake. Let's rewind to 1997. Bret Hart was on fire in the Rumble, taking on Austin, who had famously cleared the ring. The Hitman managed to eliminate Stone Cold, or so he thought. But here's where the shadiness comes in. Outside referees were too busy dealing with a brawl between Mankind and Terry Funk, so they missed Austin's elimination. Sneaky as ever, Austin slid back into the ring undetected. And what did he do? He tossed Vader, Undertaker, and Hart himself over the top rope to clinch the win. Yep, you heard that right. Stone Cold Steve Austin is the only person in Royal Rumble history to be eliminated and still end up winning the whole shebang. And I couldn't leave out this iconic moment from Eddie Guerrero's legendary career. Yeah, I know him again, but it's a bold move to skip over the time when Eddie managed to clinch a win while Taz was yelling his head off about cheating. Let's rewind to No Way Out 2004, where Eddie faced off against Brock Lesnar. Now, Lesnar was looking pretty dominant, but Eddie wasn't about to back down. He took advantage of the chaos between Lesnar and Goldberg, who had their own issues, and stormed into the ring with a thunderous spear onto Lesnar, shaking up the whole arena. Then, Eddie seized the moment. He grabbed that championship belt and, with all the flair and finesse we've come to expect from Latino Heat, he swung for the fences. Okay, maybe he missed with his first swing, but he made up for it with an even bigger DDT. And then, oh boy, he nailed his classic frog splash, sealing the deal and winning his first and only WWE Championship. But those times when a wrestler cheats, scores the win, but then ends up actually not winning. It's a rarity, mainly because WWE referees are usually presented like fragile glass, but every now and then, they hit the nail on the head. Enter Mike Chioda, often hailed as the smartest ref in any building. Picture this: John Cena versus The Miz for the WWE Championship. The Miz hatches a plan, with Riley feeding him the belt for a sneaky switcheroo to distract Cena. Simple setup, successful result. Miz actually pins Cena right then and there. But here's the kicker. Miz, bless his heart, didn't quite cover his tracks. Instead of quietly slipping the belt out of the ring when nobody was looking, he leaves it right there in plain sight. Cue the confused referee moment. You know, the classic, "Hey man, what's going on here? How did you get the pin? And why is the title in the ring?" Well, Kyoto catches on immediately and smells something fishy. He reverses the finish faster than you can say controversy, because that's what refs should do, right? And so, Cena retains the championship, leaving the industry scratching its collective head. But Royal Rumble 1999 delivered some memorable moments, especially when the corporate champ and Foley clashed multiple times. After Mick Foley had beaten The Rock for the title on a recent episode of Raw, it all came down to a scrap between Mankind and The Rock, with Mankind convinced that the Great One couldn't make him utter the dreaded words, "I quit." After all the suffering he'd endured in the WWE, Mankind was determined not to give in. But The Rock, being the cunning strategist he was, had a trick up his sleeve. He smartly used pre-recorded audio of Foley saying, "I quit," in a promo before the match. It was one of those situations where you could see why it happened, yet it was executed so well that it made you question everything. Of course, what most of us remember from that match is the finish that went way too far. The Rock unleashed a brutal assault on Mankind's head with a chair, pushing him to the brink of lunacy. Then there's Spike Dudley, who pulled off a beautiful heist to snatch the European Championship from William Regal. Regal had been smashing people in the face for months, always relying on a hidden set of brass knucks to secure his victories. But the referees caught on, checking Regal before each match to confiscate any illegal weaponry. Being the smart guy he was, Regal started carrying a second pair of brass knucks, hiding them in the ring. But Spike Dudley, ever the opportunist, was watching the broadcast before his match. He dove into the ring and grabbed the knucks from the corner before the ref could make his final checks. In a matter of seconds, Regal was out cold, and Spike Dudley was the new champion. The babyfaces have to be smart, and the heels, well, sometimes they're just asking to get outsmarted. That's wrestling for you. But in the Austin McMahon feud, the handicapped ladder match pitting Stone Cold Steve Austin against the father-son duo of Vince and Shane McMahon takes the cake. The stakes? Nothing less than control of the entire company. As the match unfolded, the intensity reached fever pitch. Stone Cold, known for his relentless tenacity, seemed on the brink of victory, scaling the ladder with determination. But just as he reached for the briefcase symbolizing control, out of nowhere, the briefcase ascended, seemingly of its own accord, just out of Austin's reach. How did it happen? Who was behind it? And most importantly, why? Despite Austin's dominance in the ring, the mysterious intervention hinted at foul play, with suspicions naturally falling on the cunning McMahon family. Was it Vince's machinations or Shane's scheming? Or perhaps a clandestine ally lurking in the shadows? Even to this day, the McMahon mystery remains one of WWE's greatest unsolved puzzles. I mean, yeah, we know who did that. If you know the name, let us know in the comments and subscribe.